There are 35 people on death row in South Carolina. This is part 3 of the series. Sammy Lewis Stokes, 24 years on death row. Stokes received a death sentence for killing Connie Snipes. He abducted her, assaulted her, essayed her, then killed her. Patty Sifret, Connie Snipes' mother-in-law, paid for the murder. In May 1998, Connie Snipes, 21 years old, was discovered dead in Branchville, almost completely naked. She'd taken 2 gunshot wounds to the head. Until the murder, Stokes and Snipes were acquaintances. Stokes received a $2,000 payment for Snipes' murder. Stokes alleged in his appeal that Thomas Sims, his defense lawyer, had been the prosecutor in a case against him 7 years prior and had never told the judge about it. At the sentencing phase of Stokes' trial, Sims requested the jury to spare Stokes the death punishment on the grounds that he had expressed regret. Brad Keat Sigman, 21 years on death row. Sigman broke into a house and used a baseball bat to kill Gladys and David Lark. Sigman stole from the house and ran away. He and Rebecca Lark spent around 3 years together in an intimate relationship. She told Sigman she didn't want to see him anymore while they were living together in her trailer. Gladys and David Lark, Rebecca's parents, shared a mobile home on the same plot of land as them. David gave Sigman eviction papers and told him he had 2 weeks to vacate the property because Rebecca wanted him to. Following that, Rebecca moved in with her parents. Sigman thought she had started a new relationship and she refused to get back together despite his pleas. He made the decision at some point that he would visit the Larks' residence. He planned to abduct her as soon as she got back home and vanish with her. Sigman took a baseball bat from beneath his trailer and proceeded to the Larks' trailer. David instructed his wife to get him his rifle when he saw Sigman, and Sigman struck him multiple times in the back of the head with the bat. When Sigman saw Gladys, he chased after her into the living room and struck her in the head multiple times. David was still moving, so he went back to the kitchen where he was lying and gave him several more blows with that bat. After that, he returned to Gladys, noticed that she was also still moving, and hit her repeatedly. After getting David's rifle, Sigman took his time until Rebecca got back home. When she arrived, Sigman snatched her car keys, brandished the revolver, and pushed her inside the vehicle. He was going to pick up his own vehicle and take Rebecca to North Carolina. She was able to exit the car nevertheless and made an attempt to flee. Sigman stopped and pursued her, firing multiple shots at her. He realized he was out of ammo, so he returned to her car and drove off. Despite being hurt, Rebecca managed to survive the attack and informed the onlookers that Sigman had claimed to have either killed or tied up her parents. When the bodies were found, police were called to the Larks' residence. A manhunt was launched, and after Sigman called his mother, who was helping the police find him, he was eventually apprehended. After being caught without any issues and being detained by the Gatlinburg police, he confessed to killing the Larks and kidnapping and shooting Rebecca. He acknowledged that his plan was to kill Rebecca and then terminate his own life. John Richard Wood, 21 years on death row. The state of South Carolina sentenced Wood to death for the killing of State Trooper Eric Nicholson. While on patrol along I-85 in the Greenville area, Nicholson called the dispatcher to report that he was going to pull over a moped. Nicholson turned on his lights and siren, but Wood, still riding the moped, did not stop right away. After hearing Nicholson cry over the radio, 2 more troopers hurried to the site and discovered that Nicholson had been shot 5 times. Nicholson's car's driver's side glass was totally broken. His 2 handguns were safely tucked into their holsters. At the location, 8 shell casings were discovered. The murder of Nicholson was witnessed by multiple people. Witnesses said they saw a trooper with his lights and siren on following a motorbike. After exiting I-85 via the off-ramp, the moped turned right onto a frontage road. The trooper accelerated to move beside the moped as soon as the 2 cars entered the frontage road, then swerved to the left to stop at an angle against an elevated median to impede the scooter's forward motion. The moped stopped near the driver's side window. Wood stopped instantly, got to his feet over the moped, and reached up the driver's side window of Trooper Nicholson's vehicle. A few witnesses heard gunshots and observed Wood holding a weapon. Wood shot many times through Nicholson's car's driver's side window, before backing up the moped, turning it around, and taking off quickly. Following the shooting, Wood was pursued by a few worried bystanders. He went into a parking lot and leaped into a Jeep's passenger seat, which was being driven by a female. After that, the residents gave the police the tag number. Wood started shooting at the pursuing police officers once they started pursuing the car. A gunshot splinter hit one officer in the face. He survived. Wood later stole a truck before being apprehended and placed under arrest. Tyrie Alfonso Roberts, 20 years on death row. The state of South Carolina sentenced Roberts to death for the killing of 2 police officers. Tyrie Roberts opened fire on Corporal A.J. Corson and Dana Tate of the Beaufort County Sheriff's Department as they were investigating a domestic disturbance at his home. Roberts killed both officers. He faced a capital murder charge. He opted to represent himself throughout the guilt or innocence phase of the trial, but 2 lawyers were still on standby to support him in court. Roberts told the trial court he would not be present at sentence if the jury found him guilty while they were still deliberating. Additionally, he made it clear that he didn't want his backup lawyers to offer a defense. Clinton Robert Ncut, 20 years on death row. Robert Ncut was convicted of killing his 4-month-old daughter. Brianna Nicole Ncut was discovered dead in her crib inside the family's Platte Springs Roadhouse in January of 2001. Because she would not stop crying, the authorities claimed that her father killed her by beating her. Following the punishment, Northcott's ex-wife Angie said, "My daughter is not coming back. I wish she was, and that's not going to change anything. All I can say is that I'm glad that it is over with." Angie and Robert Ncut have another daughter as well. Haley was born a few months following Brianna's passing. Maran Lindsay, 19 years on death row. For Ruby Nell Lindsay's murder, the state of South Carolina condemned Lindsay to death. On September 18, 2002, Lindsay, then 31 years old, shot and killed Ruby Nell Lindsay while she and her 2 little children were hiding in the back seat of a friend's car in the Inman Police Department parking lot. Her husband approached the car Mrs. Lindsay was riding in and discharged his weapon 4 times while she was speaking with a 911 operator on the phone. Charles Christoph Williams, 19 years on death row. With extra ammunition strapped to his knee and sawed-off shotgun under his arm, Williams entered the Bilo grocery shop on East North Street. Williams passed by clients and co-workers before discovering Miranda Williams attempting to flee through a storage space. Williams shot Miranda in the back as she tried to get away after being held captive for about 2 hours. The investigators discovered the blueprint of the store and the victim's work schedule in Williams's bedroom following the shooting. Quincy Allen, 18 years on death row. Quincy Jovan Allen killed 4 people between July and August in a crime spree in 2002. When Allen was incarcerated in federal prison for car theft, he was motivated to start committing crimes. He was persuaded by a fellow prisoner that he could acquire a job as a hitman for the mafia. Allen made the decision to purchase a shotgun and start training for his anticipated job after being freed. On July 7, 2002, at a bench in Finlay Park in Columbia, South Carolina, Allen chose to attack 51-year-old James White, a homeless man, in order to practice shooting a shotgun. Though shot twice, White came out of the attack alive. On August 8, 2002, following an altercation with Texas Roadhouse employee Brian Marquez, Allen shot and killed Marquez's friend Jedediah Har, 22 years old, for attempting to break up the altercation. He followed Marquez to his house shortly after the fight and set fire to the porch. On August 9, 2002, Allen burned down another Texas Roadhouse employee's vehicle before picking another at random and setting it on fire a short while later. On August 12, 2002, Richard Calvin Hawks, 53 years old, and Robert Shane Rausch, 29 years old, were shot and killed by Allen during a heist at a Citgo petrol station in Dobson, North Carolina. On August 14, 2002, Allen was taken into custody in Mitchell County, Texas, as he slept in an abandoned vehicle. Stephen Corey Bryant, 18 years on death row. Bryant was sentenced to death for 3 murders. Over the course of a month, he shot 4 people, 3 of whom passed away from their wounds. Willard Tejan, 62 years old, Clifton Gainey, 26 years old, and Christopher Burgess, 35 years old, were his victims. Anthony Woods, 17 years on death row. The state of South Carolina sentenced Woods to death for killing Joan DuBose. On Monday, June 2, 2003, 53-year-old Joan DuBose, a teacher at Manning School, was last seen alive. A friend checked on her on Wednesday evening, June 4, 2003, after she did not return calls for many days. She was found laying on her bed, face up, with blood streaming from the side of her face. When that friend contacted 911, the cops discovered DuBose dead, with her right arm restrained and a sheet wrapped around her neck. Early on June 5, 2003, Woods was taken into custody in relation to a break-in that had occurred the night before at the home of Linda Taylor, a different woman from Clarendon County. In the end, it was discovered that a shoe print recovered from DuBose's bedroom floor was consistent with an imprint made from the shoes Woods was wearing when he was arrested. DuBose's bedsheet and mattress pad underwent DNA testing, and the results matched Woods' DNA profile. Stephen Vernon Bixby, 16 years on death row. The state of South Carolina convicted Bixby to death for the killing of 2 police officers. Threatening violence, Bixby was furious that a development project would possibly affect his land. Following the call to the police, there was a standoff involving Arthur Bixby, his wife Rita, and their son Stephen. State Constable Donnie Outs and Deputy Sergeant Daniel Wilson of the Abbeville County Sheriff's Office were shot and killed. The 39-year-old Bixby allegedly told the previous girlfriend he was ready for a battle and had weapons and ammunition stacked in his parents' house, according to testimony given during his trial. He then boasted that he could have killed more people in a letter. William Dickerson, 14 years on death row. The state of South Carolina sentenced Dickerson to death for killing Gerald Roper. He believed that there was a video of Gerald Roper having relations with his girlfriend. Dickerson killed Roper after torturing and essaying him. Since their early years, Dickerson and Gerald Roper had been close friends, if not best friends. Ricky Lee Blackwell, 9 years on death row. He was sentenced to death for the murder of an 8-year-old child. The fact that his ex-wife was seeing someone new infuriated Blackwell. After Blackwell went to the pair's house, he shot Heather Brooks Center, 8 years old, in the head after putting her in a headlock. Blackwell fired 3 additional shots at the youngster. He was enraged that Brooks's father and his ex-wife were dating. This was an act of revenge, hoping he would make the child's father suffer. Please hit that subscribe button if you like my channel. See you next time. Bye bye.